Welcome back to another installment of the Final Fantasy IX playthrough, done by me, Digimon Pal, for the channel, Digimon Pal. I just want to go ahead and give a heads up. Uh, this video has a lot of graphical glitches, for whatever reason, more so than the previous part. As I also mentioned in the previous part, there is... I was doing a new recording method for this, and it just... I don't know, there was some issues. And I went to go see, because I still had the original recording file for this as well, to see maybe it was just how I rendered the part. And even the original file was still, had some video hiccups like this too. So, unfortunately, this part and the next part are going to look a little funny, with a lot of problems, and I do apologize in advance. And unfortunately, I don't have a backup save where I can re-record this, because didn't think of that. But, again, I apologize in advance for the graphical glitches. But hey, it's something to look forward to, right? Make fun of this Final Fantasy IX playthrough. But in this current part, there's not too much actually going on here. We're actually just exploring the village. We're on a tour right now, actually, getting the sightseeings of the famous village here in the tree. Don't know if it's really famous, but you know, I would think it's up there in places to see in the world of Final Fantasy IX. In the world of Gaia, was it? Can I spell Gaia? Yes, Gaia. Gaia is the name of the planet. Pardon me, I am just drinking some carbonated soda. Beverage, as one could say. Soda, pop, sody pop. Sorry, I'm kind of looking at some images of the World Gaia here. It looks pretty cool. I always like the concept art for Final Fantasy games. Alright. That concludes the tour. I think that went very well. Thanks a lot. Good old Vivi. He's like, I want to take the tour again. Probably looking at a guide at when I'm standing still like this. But so, anything silly since the last part? No, you know, just not too much going on. It is October at the time of me commentating this. It will be uploaded in this month as well. So spooky time. Actually have not sat down and watched any spooky things. Well, no, that's not true. I went through my watch later list and I picked out some of the more horror or spooky-ish kind of things, and I've been kind of going through and watching those specifically. In terms of horror movies, haven't watched anything yet. And even horror video games, I haven't really done anything except just yesterday. No, 2 days ago. At the time of me commentating over this video, I started streaming. I started doing a luck run of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's really about it. I've always wanted to do a similar thing like I did with Resident Evil 0 at the start. Try to have some kind of horror game going on during October, but it just never worked out. And I think that's really the only time I ever did it for this channel was just during Resident Evil 0. But once again, I am going to be changing my upload schedule. It's pretty much going to be definite, more than likely. But it's just going to be whenever I can, basically. It's just whenever I can get the time to sit down and do some recordings, whenever I can just do some stuff. There is going to be... I did mention it before, but there is going to be a more focus on streaming. So, there is going to be more stream-focused videos. So, you know, they're going to be 10 longer. But I also did mention that the normal Let's Play format for some of the playthroughs isn't going away. They are going to be... they're going to be happening. They're just not going to be as frequent. But anything I have started is going to be complete, and even games that I had planned that I actually have some footage of is also going to be in a Let's Play format as well. I guess I could probably go ahead and say what is in the plans. Like, currently, Least of the Painful is an ongoing playthrough, Limited Saga, Final Fantasy IX. Those are all ongoing playthroughs. And they will continue to be in the current format they are now. Upcoming playthroughs that will be in that format will be Lisa the Joyful. I plan to do the whole Lisa games like that. Some of the early NIS games, I do plan on doing that as well. I'm actually going to keep that consistent up until Disgaea 1 PC port. That will be probably the last NIS game that won't be a stream format. I actually am currently doing Disgaea 1 Complete as a stream format. Because, you know, Disgaea 6 kind of got me hyped for playing that. So, that will be, you know, it's you know, it's two different Disgaeas, you know. The PC version, which, honestly, is the better version compared to the Complete one. Like, even the add-ons they added to Complete 1 is... like, they did some quality of life changes for Disgaea 1 Complete that would be nice to have in PC, which I actually don't know if they are or not, but... The additional characters they added, it's not too fancy. Heck, I think Sagi doesn't even have a special gift skill at all. Get a letter from Ruby. I want to become an actor. No, you know what? I heard the stress is through the roof. But that's that, and I know I mentioned that previously, but the biggest takeaway is, yeah, I am rather than trying to stick to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday format upload schedule, it's just gonna be whenever. Streams, I like to get those replays up ASAP. So normally what it is with those, it is going to be whenever I stream, either the day after or a couple of days after. Within that week, it will be up. For sure. Unless, you know, I had just like back to back to back. But more than likely, I am going to have it to where it's just going to be like a video. Like, if I have a couple of videos set aside, it's going to be just like one video a day kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I kind of just winging it. But the one thing I do want to have is more content. That is something I do want to have. It might not be consistent, but honestly, even when I had that goal of doing 3 videos a week, it was never consistent. But I am shifting gears. Like, I have a lot of ongoing stuff going on stream, and I do want to try to knock out everything, so that way I can try to focus more on RPGs. Because I did make a commitment to, like, a 10-year commitment, as silly as it sounds, to where I want to make my personal top 100 RPGs of all time, and I want to take these next 10 years to replay stuff and whatnot. And I'm looking forward to that. I do really want to focus on my roots, because RPGs is something that I've always grown up of. And don't get me wrong, I'm very passionate about fighting games. But, you know, with me and gaming, RPGs have been there all my life. Heck, like, Final Fantasy VII is, like, one of my favorite games of all time, and that's an RPG. And, You know, my love for NIS games, most of them are RPGs, and I love those games. And I'm looking forward to playing a lot of these for the first time in a long time. And some of them I never even beaten, like Super Mario RPG. Never beaten it. Only played it a couple times when I rented it. Poor Vivi's running into some trouble. So currently I kind of just did a clean slate. And I actually do have a few things listed. But that list is always going to be changing. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. Like, it's going to be ever-changing up till I make a big grand, probably a stream or probably a video itself. I'm not too sure how that particular project in-goal video is going to be. This is actually something I actually didn't know the first time around. So what are you doing? This is how you can get some hidden treasure here. You do gotta be careful though, because you do gotta go back up to the village from here, and you can still run into random encounters, and you'll have 2 party members. So just you know, I mean, you can sit and fight, but I would recommend just trying to run away just to get back to the village. But yeah, currently I do have some video RPGs listed here. Basically, whatever I've done a complete playthrough of on the YouTube channel is on this list, so I don't have to really go back and look at those or play those again. And whatever I have done an RPG stream and completed, those are listed as well. And there is one game that I have not done either because I've been really wanting to play it for a while, and I did it just off camera, off screen, or however you want to call it. That being Least of the Pointless. Maybe someday I'll like to stream it. Definitely when, hopefully Monster Update comes up for the Least of the Pointless. So currently I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on this list. And I've also come into the trouble of what is considered an RPG for this list. Because, like older RPGs, it's real simple to narrow it down to what's an RPG and what's not an RPG. And and this is my list. I'm not like making, oh, this is the 100 most important RPGs of all time. Which is not. And, oh, excuse me. And, this is my list. This is what I consider RPGs. It's a little weird, like, you know, here's a perfect example. Fallout 1 and 2, I would consider RPGs. But I'm hesitant to call Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 RPGs, just because of the nature of those games. I don't know. And some people call Legend of Zelda an RPG. Me, personally, I don't feel like it's a RPG. But then I look like at Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, yeah, I consider Kingdom Hearts an RPG, so I don't know. And then you have games with RPG elements. It's a messy slope when you're trying to define games, which is why it probably is a lot easier going to trying to make a top 100 favorite games of all times rather than narrow it down to RPGs. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, if I was going to do that, I probably wouldn't actually have any fighting games on my top 100 list, which is weird because I love fighting games. But I consider that separate. I don't know. I'm a very weird individual. I like this challenge, though, and I'm very into it. And we are not even talking about the playthrough at all right now. But, yeah, Final Fantasy IX is, it's going to be a good time. Like, me personally, I do consider Final Fantasy IX out of all the Final Fantasy games I have played, I will say I have not played every single Final Fantasy game, believe it or not. But, Final Fantasy IX, I consider it still to be the best Final Fantasy game. Even though 7 is still my favorite Final Fantasy game, I consider 9 better. Like the best one out of the series so far. like I said, I haven't played every single Final Fantasy game, so you never know. That could change. Especially if Final Fantasy 16 on the horizon. Who knows? But I do find it funny that people's like, oh man, Final Fantasy 16 is going back to its roots, where it's no technology whatsoever like the older Final Fantasy games. And me, like other people, are like, there's always been tech in Final Fantasy games. It's always been there. Final Fantasy 1 has... one even had airships. One had a mechanical hidden boss. Well, hidden enemy. 2, I'm sure, had some... 2's probably the closest, actually. That we not really have any technological stuff. 3 had airships. I know that for sure. 4 had a lot of things. It had the mechanical giant airships as well. Stuff like that. 5 had airships. 5 is actually one of those rare ones I haven't beat, funny enough. 6, oh my god, 6 onward, you could really say it's a technology involved. Even 9, you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, heck, one of the major things about 10 is fighting against Machina and stuff like that. I'm sure 11 does. 12 does. 13 definitely does. 14 I'm sure does. 15 for sure. I mean, your vehicles and whatnot. But no, I mean, if they really are doing away with the whole sci-fi technology stuff with 16, it's going to be really interesting because it will technically be the first time. Don't ever do that, but we'll see. If it'll be just like a classic sword and sorcery kind of thing, rather than having some technology focus on it. I finished me soda. So yeah, 16 is gonna be a thing. Poor PV. And, suffice to say, I'm going to focus more on RPGs, but, there's still games I want to check out, too, and you never know what will come out in this decade. But, first things first, currently I'm going to finish up, I'm going to do luck mode for Symphony Night on the streams, and then it'll go back to the Sky 1 complete, and then slowly I'm going to tackle all the other stuff. I'm going to not try to start anything new, if I can, with the exception of 2 games, Superman Returns, because a friend bought that game for me, and I feel like that is, that's his high priority. And then DMC after that, because a friend jokingly said he would like me to do a thing for it, and I think it will be a good, funny, silly time. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to do. It's just, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot that I want to try to get done. And something I do want to make consistent a little bit more often, though. This is something I do want to be consistent with. Is I do want to do 2-hour streams, give or take 2-hour streams. Not every single day, but I want to do do a good chunk of streaming. In fact, at the time of me recording this, I'm probably going to do a stream tomorrow morning. But that's the thing, I can only really do it in the morning times because of my work schedule and when I go to sleep. Because I work third shift, so time is all wacky and whatnot. But hey, video games. Not too much else. Honestly, at the moment that I can think of that's going on. Crash 4 came out. Still haven't played the Insane Trilogy. I don't even have the Insane Trilogy. I have been slowly getting my video game collection together and marking down what I have, what I don't have on a list. And that's been interesting. Would like to go through. That's another thing too. That is another thing I want to go. I want to go through my collection. I want to play all these games that I have in my collection, and I want to go through them. And you know, after I beat said game, maybe I'm all right with parting it or trading it off. You never know. Because I think I've gotten to the point now where I might be kind of selective about what games I add to the collection now. Like, whatever I get in the, like, the video game subscription stuff is fine. 9 times out of 10, I usually hold on to those. Whatever games I get in there. And even still, like, it's been so long since I traded in a game. Like, the only games I ever trade in is just games I have duplicates of. Everything else I've been holding on to. But I've got to the point where if I look at a game and I'm like, you know, I probably would be alright trading this in for something else. Uh-oh. Help! What's the matter? The antline's mauling again. The antline is usually so docile. How could... Little callback to Final Fantasy there. Yeah, it's a callback to Final Fantasy. No, it's a callback to 4 specifically, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, I do apologize about this video's the glitches going on in this video. Hopefully in the next part it's not as terrible. Because honestly, it didn't appear that much in the previous part. It was prevalent, but not to this extent. And when I recorded this, it did not show up like this when recording. Until, like, actually done recorded. I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to deal with. And if worst comes to worst, then I'll have to just record the old way. This is probably what I'm going to end up doing, truth be told. Or maybe just get a whole nother capture device. Because, what I did to record with this is the same way I stream with. I don't know. It's technology. You gotta love it, right? Also, hey, it's Punk. Alright, this guy can be a little difficult. He'll blind you, and that will prevent you from, you know, hitting him with physical attacks. He's a big boy, though. Oh, I should say, on my quest to do all these hard games this next decade, if anybody has suggestions, please, you know, let me know. Whether, you know, comments or direct messages on my Twitters or whatnot. There's so many RPGs that I want to check out that I don't even own a copy of. Like, Persona 5 is something I do want to check out since I did become a fan of 3 and 4. I do have a copy of Persona 1. It was a little rough when I first played it, but I want to give it another shot. Persona 2, I don't even have a thing for. Like, there's so much. Fairy Tail was also an RPG that just released not too long ago that seemed it might be interesting. Pretty sure those sounds are off from the original. Sounds a little funny. Oh, it's gonna be interesting. It's really gonna be an interesting time, and this is something I am looking forward to this next decade. Trying to focus on and whatnot. And, knock on wood. Hopefully this decade becomes great. Not counting, you know, this year. Also, yes, my desk is made of wood. Time to continue onward with the stealing simulator aspect of this game. Got the gold helmet. Very nice. I think this is pretty much the rest of this part right here. It's just us trying to steal everything from this guy. Alright, Mithril Fest has been acquired. Oh, I don't know if I remember mentioning this in the previous video or not. I am capable of streaming PS3 games now. Because I got a splitter. So we're good. So, yeah. PlayStation 3 games is, and even before that, well, no, I kind of needed that to be able to do recordings of PlayStation 3 games anyway. And, in HD, I should say. Because otherwise you have to use the AVI situation stuff. Well, not really. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Moral of the story is I can actually stream PS3 games without too much of a hassle now. And because I got a PS3, I can read discs again now. I can do PS1, I can do PS3, I can do PS4. Streaming PS2 games might be a little challenging at the moment, because I have to look into what I got. Recording PS2 games is fine. I got that down pat, but actually streaming it might be a little interesting to deal with. Bio is such a good spell early on. Now that we stole everything from this guy, it's just a matter of just beating him up. And Sedaine was knocked out. As one gets hit pretty hard, that's an accurate response. There we go. Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna have to go to sleep after doing the voiceover for this. I do gotta work tonight at the time of this video. At the time of me recording over this video. Work. I mean, it is the thing that is necessary. I've also been working on trying to get rid of the neck cramp I've been having on and off lately. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but I mean it's kind of something that I've always been with. I gotta try to look into really if there's anything I can really do for it. And there we go. That takes care of the big bug. Oh man, you stole my helmet. Yeah, I'm fairly certain these are not the same sound effects that was used in the original Final Fantasy IX. They just sound off. Of course, it has been a little bit since I played PS1 Final Fantasy IX. Are you alright, Your Highness? Hey, Freya, what's up? Yeah? My old man, huh? Nah, I don't want to see him. Later. Take care, Vivi. No. Hey, Vivi, much nicer. Much nicer indeed.